And part of what we as a church have committed to is creating the change that will create justice for people of color in our community. And our Racial Justice Endowment is our commitment to do that. And today we celebrate what God is doing through these wonderful organizations in our community, and we welcome our guests to tell us the specifics of that. And I hope it will inspire you to see the ways in which you might use your creative capacity to engage in work like theirs. And so I will tell you a little bit about our guests, and I'll invite you to stand if you don't mind. I want to introduce to you Samantha Farr, who is the immediate past president of the San Diego Black Nurses Association. And yeah, give her a clap, absolutely. You will want to clap more once you know what they're doing. That organization, yep, they received a grant because we wanted to support their work of integrating mental health screenings and education into the free health screenings they already provide for our Black community in San Diego. And we are grateful to be a part of that work. And I would like to introduce to you Gus Hernandez. Gus, would you stand? This is Senior Director of Communications and Marketing of the San Diego LGBT Community Center. The San Diego LGBT Community Center received a grant in support of their Black Services program that provides case management, mental health services, and peer support groups for Black San Diegans in the LGBTIA+ community. And not the least at all, Dawn Wensel, I invite you to stand. She is the Vice President of Development of Reality Changers. I have to say, of all three of you, that's the best organization name I've heard. Reality Changers. Reality Changers assist students of color and help them achieve their dreams of being the first in their families to attend and graduate college. And Reality Changers has implemented a program to provide mental health support for these students from Masters in Social Work interns from the San Diego State University. And that's just the little bit I know about these organizations. I invite Samantha to come forward and the others as well to tell you more.
Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here in the house of God with you guys this morning. The choir, beautiful. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Reverend Trudy Robinson and Jason Tucker and the congregation for actually having the forthright and the thought process of actually gathering the Racial Endowment Fund. So I applaud you at this moment in time. My name is Samantha Farr. I am the immediate past president of the San Diego Black Nurses, also known as the COVID president. And I am a nurse practitioner intensivist. I work at UCSD in the Department of Trauma, Surgical Critical Care, and Acute Care Surgery. I'm here only as one member of San Diego Black Nurses. We are the second oldest organization for Black nurses in the state of California, founded in 1976. We are the oldest nursing organization in the city of San Diego at this time. Our founding member, our president emeritus, Lottie Harris, is still an active member, attends meetings, and is a very active member of our organization. So San Diego Black Nurses is one of 91 chapters of National Black Nurses Association. Our mission in San Diego is to decrease health disparities through advocacy, education, and health promotion. San Diego Black Nurses has been in the city of San Diego serving the underrepresented and the people who have lack of access to care for many years, first starting with the AIDS pandemic that we saw in the 1980s. San Diego Black Nurses was there. We were here with the hepatitis pandemic that we saw, the outbreak that we had. Every year we give free flu vaccinations. I might say all the services that we attempt to provide to the community, they are free in nature. Every year we give about 1,700 flu shots. And then when COVID struck in 2020, San Diego Black nurses, seeing the need and understanding that those communities, they have a real mistrust of medicine. And so we went into those communities and we gave over 10,000 vaccinations as public servant leaders who actually work in the hospitals. Almost every hospital you go to, there are members of San Diego Black nurses that volunteer their time independently of their jobs and away from their families. Thank you. So, in the midst of COVID and after COVID, we all suffered. We know that mental health is something, an issue that has been long needed in our communities. Every community has needed mental health during COVID. And now what we're seeing, these hardest struck communities are suffering. People are still suffering as the results of COVID, whether it's physical, mental, financial. COVID is still here. So in San Diego, there's 6% population of African Americans. Of that, we know that approximately about 2% have access to adequate mental health if they are suffering with mental health issues. Some of the issues that are in our community are suicide, stigma, judgment, and then of course we know access. So this racial endowment is right on time and is right at the pinnacle of what needs to be done, and it's proactive instead of reactive. Our program will be called We Hear You. First, we will host listening sessions to adequately screen and assess the mental health needs of the people in our community. And let me just say, this is not just about, we primarily service Black community, but this is all underserved communities that we can touch. And this is the entirety of San Diego County. Then we want to provide health screenings. So part of our health screenings that we do, as the Reverend mentioned, we do blood pressure checks. We have always done blood pressure checks. We give immunizations, we do screenings, we do education and health promotion. And then the final piece of that will be research. African Americans and underserved communities do not participate in research. All the research that we have is based upon typically the 40-year-old Caucasian male. Women aren't even included in that, even Caucasian women. And so having that input and having that ability to have that research and put it back into the community that owns that research and let them know exactly what's going on, hopefully we can bridge that gap of education. So my thanks is to the congregation, and then we're asking you to join us. This is only as strong as we are together, so we have to work together, and we are looking for you to join us in our screening sessions. I will have a sign-up sheet for anyone who's interested. Whether you volunteer an hour, 30 minutes, your time and your presence is needed and wanted and welcomed. And then also, if you happen to be a nurse that's in the congregation, we are San Diego Black nurses, but we are not a monolith. We have members who look like you, me, everybody in here, because we're only stronger together, and we know that through COVID. So with that, I am so grateful to be here. We are very thankful for this endowment, and we thank you, we thank you, we thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gus Hernandez, Senior Director of Communications at the San Diego LGBT Community Center. The San Diego LGBT Community Center enhances and sustains the health and well-being of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, transgender, non-binary, immigrant, and HIV communities to the betterment of our entire San Diego region. The center offers programs and services for our diverse LGBTQ community in San Diego. LGBTQ people, especially Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color, face so much discrimination, beginning in childhood, when we are discovering our identities, all the way through school, where we're bullied, harassed, made fun of for the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we act. When it comes to our unhoused youth, LGBTQ people are disproportionately represented, especially our Black, Indigenous, and people of color youth. That's why the center offers a range of services, beginning with our youth programs, serving clients as young as 10 years old at our Hillcrest Youth Center and our South Bay Youth Center. We provide housing for transitional age youth, 18 to 24, at our Sunburst Youth Housing Project, which includes emergency overnight shelter for youth. We also offer senior programs and have a case manager at the North Park Senior Apartments to ensure our LGBTQ seniors have access to programs and services tailored to their needs. Because our communities are intersectional, I'm proud to share with you about our Black services at the center today. Black Services at the Center was officially launched in 2021 to provide dynamic programming and direct services to the Black LGBTQ community. In addition to social events, community connections, and support and discussion groups, community members can receive medical and non-medical case management, information, and referrals to additional resources, including HIV testing, STI screening, and PrEP navigation. PrEP is a once daily pill that helps to prevent HIV. We offer programs like Brave Space, a peer-led discussion group for Black and LGBTQ folks who come together to bond, share, and connect in community, discuss anti-Black racism, express pain, and create support and healing. Our Shades of Color is another peer-led empowerment group for Black men specifically. Topics include speakers with topics like living with HIV, normalizing sex, community mobilizing, dating, spiritual awareness, self-healing, and much more. Our Black LGBTQ Community Advisory Committee is made up of members in the community who provide advice to the center about issues impacting the Black LGBTQ community in order to better serve and welcome our community members. The work that we do relies on having allies in our community. I am an ally of the Black community, and I know you are too. Thanks to your generous grant, we have been able to implement so many unique offerings at the center. We held the Black Services vaccination event last year where we vaccinated people for COVID, flu, and monkeypox, or Mpox as we call it in our community. We also had the resources available to help people get on PrEP, since our Black community is again disproportionately represented in new HIV cases in San Diego. We held a COVID vaccination event last summer targeted LGBTQ women from our Black and Latina communities. And we partner with organizations like the San Diego Black LGBTQ Coalition on events like San Diego Black Pride in the summer and the Black LGBTQ Human Book Experience, which is happening this Saturday at the Valencia Park Malcolm X Library, just in time for Black History Month. To get involved, you can sign up for our weekly e-news to hear about all the latest events at the center. You can volunteer with us at our monthly food banks, any one of our programs, and our fundraising events. And you can also donate directly to the center and even earmark your donation to the program of your choice, including Black Services. Thank you so much for your support, and it's been a pleasure to be here this morning.
Good morning. I just want to echo all the thanks that has been given at this point. I just really appreciate you all coming today and learning more about our organizations. Jason and I were talking about this a couple of years ago when you all first started this endowment, and so it's just wonderful to see it in action. So thank you for all the time, energy, and commitment you've put into this. We, as an organization, we really appreciate it. So I'm Dawn Wensel, I'm the Vice President of Development, so I lead all of the fundraising and communications at Reality Changers. Our mission is to prepare youth to become first-generation college graduates and agents of change in their communities. Why we do this? We believe college degrees create new opportunities. They create economic opportunities in our communities and neighborhoods, but they also increase civic engagement. And I want to be clear, when I talk about college degrees, I'm talking about 2- and 4-year degrees. Our students, they identify as being underrepresented. So this means that they're coming from backgrounds usually that are racially, ethnically, socially, economically not represented on college campuses, but also, I'd say, in leadership positions within companies. They also don't identify as being college-bound or college-ready. They really credit our program with becoming aware that they can go to college. They are just as worthy as somebody else in their community to go to college, and so we're really proud of that. We've been in the community for more than 20 years. We've had 3,000 students, more than 3,000 students graduate from our high school program and go on to college. Most of our students actually attend college here in California. 90% of our class of 2022 is attending a 2 or 4 year school in California. They do apply for out-of-state schools and private institutions, but they choose to stay in California. And not only California, most of them actually stay here in San Diego, which who can blame them? And they are, they're our future workforce, and they're also our future community leaders. All of our programming is free to students and families. We really focus not just getting them to high school graduation, but through college graduation and beyond as they become early career professionals. Our middle and high school program focuses on leadership opportunities, tutoring, career exploration, obviously college application support, financial aid, scholarship opportunities. Our programming occurs after school. It's 3 hours on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday evening. They can come for one night or all nights. And this is where we also have that MSW on site to support our students. We'll talk about a little bit more in detail. And then, as I said, we don't just do sort of like wave goodbye after high school graduation and wish them good luck. We know that students need support through college and beyond, specifically students who identify as first in their families who are going to college and who are low or middle income economically. 90% of those students, if they fit those two groups, they don't graduate from college. They don't get through. And our students are 7 times more likely to graduate from college and enter a career. And that's because the work that we do with them during college is one-on-one coaching and advising, networking opportunities, resume building, mentorship, really making sure that they're prepared in college for the workforce when they graduate. So the MSW intern, I just want to give a little context of why. You've heard mental health be talked about a lot here. Our students were facing challenges before the pandemic. These were not new challenges. They just got exacerbated by the pandemic. The ACLU of Southern California did a study recently, and they found for students, the greatest impact from the pandemic has been on their mental health. And when they surveyed these students, more than half of them said that they've lacked motivation during the pandemic. They often felt depressed. And they never saw an increase in mental health services at their schools or outside their schools during the pandemic. And we found something very similar. In fall of 2021, when we invited students back into our space after 1.5 years of virtual learning, they said the same thing. And not only that, they let us know that they'd been sidelining their educational aspirations. They had to take on jobs to help their families because of the pandemic's effect on the local economy. So what the MSW intern has been doing for the past couple of years is just supporting our students and actually our staff, who was really taking on a lot of this burden. The majority of the support she provides is one-on-one counseling and therapy, but she does workshops, she does referrals, and she does research, and she does so much more. They are getting their MSW from San Diego State, and there's a supervisor there, and I also have to thank Price Philanthropies also for their partnership with this program. It's on-site for a reason. When you refer a student out or maybe refer a family member, because families do have access to the MSW, they may or may not actually do that. They may not actually go and access that service. So having the MSW on-site at our programming, becoming a member of our community, really is just more comfortable for our students to feel like, oh, I can go to her or him or whoever it may be at that time and say, yeah, like I am struggling. So thank you for your support. In terms of getting involved, I have flyers and things like that back in the hall, but we do rely on volunteers. We have over 100 volunteers that give their time and energy to support our students, either through academic tutoring or mentorship throughout the school year. Of course, we have one-time events, we have fundraising events, and you can also visit our programming. You can see our programming in action. We do invite community members in to come in the evening and see that. So thank you again, and I appreciate it.
I don't know how you can hear these wonderful stories and not see that God is still creating. I don't know how you can hear that and not see the new realities that are in front of us, and with that sight, say along with God, this is very good. This is very good. We are grateful. We know that the story of creation is ours as Christians, and God calls us very good. And we are also created in the image of God to be able to create new realities as well. And so I hope you heard in each one of their talks the invitation to be a part of their creative work in doing something important for our world. And if you need a reminder or more specifics, or if you have more questions, I really do hope you will come across to Linder Lounge and meet these folks, Linder Hall,